So we just came back from the protest earlier today. The From the IPOB protest in New York City. Um, it was by the United Nations and also by the Nigerian House. It was a good one. Lots of people showed up, and 2 years ago there was a different protest that we had to it was against the Operation Python dance that was going on in 2017. In contrast, that protest did not have much support from other people who were not Igbo. But funny enough, this last one, we had a lot of people. We had some Yoruba guys that showed up, and they were there a day earlier when we protested on behalf of Showore. So the good thing about it is some of them actually came over because they liked the support that IPOB members and IPOB supporters had given to Showore in the two protests that they had last week and this week. So it was just it's a good thing that finally people are coming together for the sake of freedom and understanding, as opposed to ideological, religious, or ethnic leanings. Um, so hopefully this will continue to be the case, so that in the future we have a better generation of people who are responsive to other people's plight, regardless of what the situation is. So we're hoping to apply more of cultural relativism. That way we can see things through the prism of other people as opposed to our own prism. And then we get to appreciate other people's cultures as well, and their own understandings of situations. So hopefully that will make a better Africa as time goes on. So they came over there, they supported the protest, and they were mostly, the protest was just to make sure that the federal government stops arresting and killing IPOB members illegally, and also to make sure that IPOB gets deproscribed, because you cannot prescribe IPOB, which is a largely peaceful organization, but you're not prescribing the Miyetie Allah, who, that group is number 4, is listed as 4th deadliest terrorist organization in the world. But to the Nigerian government, it's a darling. And this group is going around killing people in the east, north, everywhere. They've gone to the south, and people never imagined it coming. Some other crusaders in the past talked about it. Some activists talked about the possibility, like Nnamdi Kanu, them talked about the possibility of them coming to the south, and people just brushed it off or said they were insane. But all of a sudden, it's happening today. They are killing our mothers. They are raping our mothers in the villages. Things that we never imagined. And they are killing with impunity. And then when you go report to the police station, the police doesn't do anything about it. The government does not classify their acts as terrorism. They just classified it as banditry. And then because it's a banditry situation, they expect it to be a criminal situation that has to be handled by the police. Then when you go to the police calls his Oga, and his Oga calls the next Oga. And before you know it, the chain of commands goes straight to Abuja. And at the end of the day, the herdsman is they either don't get arrested, or if they're arrested at all, they'll be released. They are not successfully prosecuted. So something is wrong. It's inherent and it's terrible. So there's the injustice is just a little bit too much. So, and the common man is beginning to see that, regardless of your Igbo or IPOB supporter or not. Yoruba people seeing that, some reasonable Northerners seeing that. as well. You don't proscribe groups like IPOB and you proscribe the Shiites. But meanwhile, you let the Mieti Allah roam around and kill scores of people without being apprehended or without being curbed. That's so terrible. So people just came out in support of justice, in support of peace. And funny enough, there were some Northerners that were there. Some Fulani Hausa guys came over, and they said they came to support the fact that people were they called themselves IPOB supporters, that they came to show support to IPOB because they believe IPOB is a largely peaceful organization, and they said they believe in good governance. Most of the demands being made by IPOB, most of those ideals is what they identify with, and they don't appreciate what the Nigerian government is doing and what the cabal is doing to maintain the status quo. So they see a lot through the prism of IPOB understanding, and they wanted to show support for that. Some people said, oh, this could be the DSS agents trying to infiltrate the protest. Well, whatever it was, it doesn't really matter, because if it's the DSS and they were there, they saw everything that went down, then fine. If the DSS with clean mind, maybe even if they came there to infiltrate, believe it or not, they left there well educated through the evangelism, and they've changed. And hopefully when we get to change more people in that DSS setting, we can have a better DSS, and then they will also, by extension, convert more people that work for the government, so things that can start changing. We need more of the people that work for the government to start feeling for the ordinary person, so that things can start to change. We can start to change that from within. So it's a good thing if that were to happen, or if that were to be the case. Also, someone like Vice President Oshibanjo, who happens to be a pastor and who happens to be a son. He was a law professor before he became a vice president, and he's serving a government that's holding someone like Omoyele Sowore against his will and against court orders, and he's keeping mute. What does that tell, or what does that say about him as a person, as a man, as a pastor, as an individual with conscience? Can he speak out? Can he speak up? Can he be against what they're doing? Instead, he's worried about his own situation where they're accusing him of 90 billion naira fraud. He's really saying he's ready to waive his immunity just to defend himself. Okay, cool. You could do that, but please waive your immunity, so to say, and speak out against what your government is doing to Omoyele Sowore and what your government is doing to IPOB as a group. Speak out. Nothing was going to happen to you. Trust me. I know you want that 2023 presidency. Trust me, if you speak out now, they'll start to respect you a little bit more. That's the problem we're having with a lot of our leaders. They don't speak out because they're afraid of losing what they believe they're about to get or they are entitled to get. And no, you don't have any entitlement as long as you remain evil. We must all do soul searching, and until we get rid of what we call bystanders apathy, we're never going anywhere. This apathy exists in Nigeria, whereby if it's not directly affecting you, you don't give a shoot, and that's wrong. You come out of your house, you smell smoke, you say, oh, the house is about to burn. You look out through your window, you say it's not your house, but it's your neighbor's house, and you be like, oh, thank God, and you go back to sleep. That's apathy. It's wrong. You wake up, you see IPOB members getting arrested and getting beaten up, you look at them, oh, miscreants, them and them, they kind of know my business. Trust me, you keep doing that, the next day it will be your turn. And that's what's happening in Nigeria right now. The impunity is just so gross. and people turn their eye. Even right now, a lot of people think they're free, they're safe from the government. No, you're not. If you don't condemn evil today, the evil will come after you someday. You must stand up against tyranny. You must stand up against evil governance. You must stand up against manipulations. They manipulate the people. That's how they're able to. Okay, now, INEC is like the almighty stuff. People say, oh, why don't you guys support elections in Nigeria? You support, okay, what about the elections that you've supported? What happened? Were the right people chosen? No. INEC just does whatever they want. This Nigeria needs a total revamp. The society is like, you know what? My people, my African people, we need to change things around, and we need to start with from our hearts. We need to start from our hearts. You must start to feel for your neighbor. You must start to feel the pain that your neighbor goes through when they are unjustly picked up by the government. You don't celebrate that Omoyele Sowore is being held, even after the court says let him go, and you think one day it's not going to come to you. Look at what's going on with Oshibanjo right now. The cabal is after him heavy because he's been condoning all the bullshit they've been doing. Now they're after him because they don't want him to be the vice president in 2023. They are trying to slot in people like El Rufai, and even Tinubu is on the other side trying to do his own bidding to be a president too. So Oshibanjo is in hot seat. Let me tell you, if you start to speak out against evil, those same people that you hang around with now, they start to respect you more. And when a situation comes up whereby there will be a character testimony that's needed to be given, they will approve of you because they trust you. Right now, they're just using you because they need you for that situation. They need you to just be part of what they're doing. And then after that, they're going to be done with you. But you need to have your self-respect. If you stand up against tyranny, you stand up against evil governance, evil government, you stand up against evil, they will start to respect you. I know you want your contract that you want to get from the federal government and the state government in Imo State, Abia, wherever. You can still get those contracts. You could still maintain your job while speaking out. Trust me, the people around you will start to respect you more if you speak out against evil. They will have more respect for you. But when you keep quiet, your silence is so bad. And trust me, they will never trust you fully. They only slide with you right now because they want to use you. And after that, you get dumped. Speak out against evil. Omunem, ohem shimagwano. All fracas, more fire. We4We TV. And when hemegane, amushiranyike.